Shabbat. What an honor and a privilege it is for both of us to be up here reading and teaching the word. We praise him and ask him for understanding according to the word, right? According to the scriptures, not according to popular thought or doctrine, right? We got to get away from that, Israel. It's a lot of it, but the Bible tells the whole story, right? But what we stop doing is letting the scriptures interpret the scriptures. It's dangerous. And I know I say it a lot, but I'm going to keep on saying it. All right? Because we're here for understanding according to the word of God. Right? And, I'm going to do my best to bring it out with the gift that he's given me. Right? So we're going to get started. The title of today's message is The Day of the Lord. Right? The Day of the Lord. Hey, can somebody hit that out right there? The Day of the Lord. We'll see how this rolls. All right. Most of it, it started in Matthew 24 for the most part. Right? But we want to understand what is he saying to us about the day of the Lord. So what do we have to do? Who should we look to? Who should come on? Y'all talk to me. Who should come up on the scene? He started telling them about the day of the Lord or what's going to happen. Who, to verify his words, who do we need to look to?
The prophets.
That's right. How we know that? Give me a verse. We'll start it off right there with the verse. All right. Well, I need that's the rest of the right verse, but I need the scripture. In the prophet Amos 3. Yes, ma'am, indeed. Amos 3 and verse 7. You know why I ask questions? Because that's how we remember stuff. All right. Amos 3, verse 7. Amos 3, verse 7. Hearken to the scripture.
Surely Yahuwah Elohim would do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
So that's surely, he's assuring us, right?
Yes, sir.
He letting us know I'm not going to do absolutely nothing unless I reveal my secrets to my servants, the prophets. That's what I chose them for. Whatever secrets I reveal unto them, they go and they prophesy unto the people. They my mouthpiece. They're here to tell Israel what thus said Yahuwah, right? It doesn't go outside those boundaries, right? So every man is got to follow what's written. What she said? I can't hear her. Luke 16 and 20. Let's see what it say. Right? So that means he's not going to do anything unless he reveal his secrets to who? His prophets. Right? We got that. So we're going to get, after we read this, we're going to, after we read this, we'll go to Matthew 24 and see what's going down. Right? I mean, we're going to go see what Yeshua said in John, then we'll go to Matthew. I forgot. Okay? So let's verse 29 is our concentration, but we got to start up a little bit. 23.
23.
Go ahead.
And in hell he lift up his eyes.
This is the rich man, right? The parable between the rich man and the beggar, right? The beggar that's lifted up his eyes. Where is he at?
And in hell he lift up his eyes.
Yes, sir.
Being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off.
Yes.
And Lazarus in his bosom.
Right.
And he cried and he said, Abba Abraham,
Uh-huh.
have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue.
All right, so he in so much torment and pain, he just want a little smidget of water, right? Go ahead.
For I am tormented in this flame.
Yes.
But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things.
Yes.
But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented.
Go ahead.
And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment.
Right, he want to warn his brothers, right?
That's right.
So they don't come into this place of torment. Go ahead.
Abraham said unto him,
Mm-hmm.
They have Moshe and the prophets.
This is how imperative or important the word is, right? Because whatever secrets the Most High wants you to know, the prophets already told us about it.
Right.
He said, let me go warn them. He said, they got Moses and the prophets. This is how important the word is.
Right.
That's going to be their warning. Why would he say that? Go ahead and finish.
And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent.
So basically he said, no, that ain't good enough, right? He said, but if one go to them that rose from the dead, they'll repent. Go ahead and read.
31, and he said unto him, If they hear not Moshe and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead.
Is that the truth?
Yep.
So basically he said, you don't hear the law and the prophets,
Right.
you're not going to hear Yeshua. This is what he said in John the 5th chapter.
That's right.
He said, how can you believe my words if you don't believe Moses' words? He wrote
Right.
about me.
All the prophets.
Right? Mm-hmm. And that's the truth. Right? Go to John the 6th chapter real quick. We're going to do what the Mashiach told us to do. John the 5th chapter. Verse 39. These are the words of a Mashiach right here. What did he say?
Search the scriptures.
What's the scriptures?
That's
Moses and the prophets.
Right.
Right?
For in them ye think ye have eternal life.
Is that the truth?
Yes, sir.
Just think about our Old Testament Hebrew. Old Testament only. They searching the scriptures to do what? They thinking they have eternal life.
Right.
Right? Why you search the scriptures? You think you got eternal life. Right? But what did he say?
And they are they which testify of me.
They talking about me. Mm-hmm. What that mean? That mean it's written in parables. Dark sentences. Dark sayings. Hidden truths. If any time you can read something on the surface, you think you got something that what is actually different from what it's actually talking about, that means that some of the meanings are hidden. Some of the true meanings are hidden. There's some hidden truths in there. Right? Mm-hmm. Is that the truth? Mm-hmm. He said, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life.
And they are they which testify of me.
And
ye will not come to me, that ye might have life.
That's the truth. So that's our job, to go to him so that we might have life. Back up to Matthew 24. We're going to deal with the day of the Lord. Just trying to figure out how I'm going to start it out. Matter of fact, let me, before we get Matthew 24, let's go listen to a prophet, Malachi. Malachi, the 4th chapter. Malachi 4. Verse 1. Malachi 4. Verse 1. Hearken to the scripture.
For, behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven.
What day is he talking about?
The
day of the Lord, right? The day of Yahuwah. He said, it's coming. That means it's on the way. Mm-hmm. Right? And one thing that we pick up right off the top is what? it's going to burn as an oven, right? Fire is a symbol of God's judgment, his fiery indignation. The day of the Lord is coming because he has judged you and you've come up short. So now the punishment comes. All right? That's his fire, or his fiery indignation comes after that. All right? And we call it the day of the Lord. Also called the day of calamity, the day of visitation, because this is the time when you will visit you for your iniquity, your transgression, right? So now he's letting them know the day of that burneth as an oven.
And all the proud, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble.
Look, so when the day of the Lord approach, if you pay attention, it's always judgment and destruction for one party,
Right.
and deliverance for the other party. Mm-hmm. So to the righteous is deliverance,
Right.
but to the wicked is destruction.
Right.
Basically, he got to deliver the righteous out of the hand of the wicked, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Right? So the wicked, the judgment is coming upon you. To the righteous, it's going to be deliverance. Mm-hmm. So he said, all the proud, what they going to do? Burned as an oven, right? Uh-huh. Go ahead.
And all that do wickedly shall be stubble.
And all that do wickedly shall be stubble. Go ahead.
And the day that cometh shall burn them.
You see that? Mm-hmm. The day that's coming shall burn them. Yes, sir.
Saith Yahuwah of hosts.
Uh-huh.
That it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
What that mean? Now destruction. No root, no
demolished.
offspring, right? Utter destruction. Mm-hmm. This is what the day of the Lord is about. He's bringing judgment to the wicked. Go ahead.
But unto you that fear my name.
So it's going to be on the contrary. We have salvation or deliverance to the righteous. Mm-hmm. Now he's saying you that fear my name, that's not for you. All right, go ahead.
Shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings.
See, this same day is going to bring deliverance unto you. Hearken to the scripture.
And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall.
Yes, and we have many examples of the day of the Lord in the Old Testament.
Yes, sir.
The day when he brings judgment. And we're going to go and picture a couple of them. Right? Because sometimes we may think it's just one day. Right? But it's not just one day. Because the things that he used to that surround the day of the Lord and how he pictured the destruction is happened time and time again. Right? So we're going to pick it up by the words of the prophets. And when Christ was telling us about the day of the Lord in Matthew 24, he did not deviate from the prophet's language.
Right.
Him being a prophet himself, he couldn't deviate from the language of the prophets. Right?
Right.
But we'll get there. So it's going to, the day of the Lord is going to be healing unto the righteous. What else?
3. Down the wicked, they shall be as ashes under feet in the day that I shall do this.
Now, go ahead. Now he's talking about, let's just go ahead and picture it, right? The day of the Lord that he's talking about right now is the day that he's going to bring destruction upon Jerusalem. That's what you got to get in your mind. Mm-hmm. This is the day that he's going to bring destruction upon Jerusalem. All right, this is what he's speaking of. Go ahead. He's going to give us a sign, right? We're going to see. Go ahead.
Saith Yahuwah of hosts.
Yes.
4. Remember the law that Moshe my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel.
Isn't this what the parable was saying? Mm-hmm. The law and the prophet, remember? Right. So he said, remember the law that I commanded to all Israel, yes?
With the statutes and judgments.
With the statutes and judgments, come on.
Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great day and dreadful day of Yahuwah.
Now tell me what that means. We're not going to sit up and act like we don't understand what this stuff is saying to us. He's talking to you about the day of the Lord. Mm-hmm. And he said, before it comes, what is he going to do?
Send Elijah the prophet.
Send Elijah the prophet, right?
Yes, sir. We
didn't keep that in mind. That's our sign. Mm-hmm. What that mean? That mean the day of the Lord is getting close.
Right.
That mean it's right on the horizon. That mean you're not going to see Elijah the prophet come up on the scene until the day of the Lord is very near. There's no reason for me to send Elijah the prophet beforehand. Mm-hmm. Right? We understand that. All right? We do, we or don't we? We got that? Go ahead.
6.
This is your sign. This is the secret that's being
sir.
revealed by the mouth of the prophet. Go ahead and read.
Right. 6, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children.
Look what he going to do. He got a job to do as well. Or when he come, he just not going to be appearing, walking around chilling.
Right.
Right, he gonna get on his job because he's already been prophesied about. Right. He gonna turn the heart of the children,
heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to the fathers.
That's right.
Lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Right. We look at that and we see that word earth and we think he's talking about the whole world.
Right.
He really not.
Nah.
This prophecy is to Judah
Yes.
and Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. Right. You need to understand that.
Right.
Because this is going to help us keep it in context and keep it together. Back up to the 3rd chapter real quick. Pick me up at verse 1.
Verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Behold, I will send my messenger.
That's Elijah the prophet. Mm-hmm. It's the same one. I'm going to send him for what?
And he shall prepare the way before me.
That's what he's going to be doing. He's going to prepare the way before me. Go ahead.
And Adonai whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple.
Now, once you see Elijah on the scene, you know that prophet that's been prophesied about in the Old Testament that will come that you're supposed to listen to is right behind him.
Right.
You understand that? But before that prophet come on, see, Elijah is the prophet is a sign.
A time
before
marker.
The timeline, right.
Time marker.
Right. So before that prophet come that Moses was talking about, you're going to see his messenger. See, in chapter 3, he called him the messenger. Chapter 4, he called him by name, Elijah, or by a code name. We'll say a code name. So when we go over to the next couple of chapters, we're going to get his real name. But you just remember what he's doing. Turning the heart of that means the people done fell off. I got to send them because you didn't remember the law of Moses. Huh? I got to send them because you don't treat your neighbor as yourself. You don't love the Most High Yah with thy heart and mind and soul. So you know what I got to do? Before I bring destruction, I give you a warning. My prophet's going to warn you. Now, if you take heed to the warning, you'll be saved out of this. If not, a fight come with that. So I'm going to send you my messenger. He going to prepare the way before my face. Go ahead.
Even the messenger of the covenant,
yes,
whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith Yahuwah of hosts.
He shall come, yes.
But who may abide the day of his coming?
Right. So now he's talking about the messenger, the actual messenger of the covenant. Mm-hmm. That's Yeshua. Right? Mm-hmm. He said, who shall abide the day of his coming? Why would he say that? Go ahead.
And who shall stand when he appeareth?
Mm-hmm.
For he is like a refiner's fire like fuller's soap.
He judging the people. Mm-hmm. And he clean. He getting the ones that's going to listen. He getting them clean like soap or refine. He refining them like fuller's soap. You have to be clean before the day of the Lord come. Else you're going to be a victim of the destruction. Right? So that's why when we go over to the 4th chapter, he was telling them that he going to send them, Elijah the prophet, before the day of the Lord. And he said he's going to turn the hearts of the fathers back to the children. Right? So let's see if this happened. Matthew the 11th chapter. You can pick me up at verse 1.
Matthew 11:1.
Hearken to the scripture.
And it came to pass, when Yeshua had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed thence to teach and to preach in their cities.
Right. Who came? Who was born before Yeshua?
John
the Baptist. Right. This was Elijah who he was telling us about, John the Baptist. Why would he come on the scene?
To prepare the way.
Prepare the way. All right, so what's approaching? The day of the Lord. Upon who? Jerusalem. Why he warning somebody that it ain't for? Let's just think about it. Why am I warning Jerusalem about the day of the Lord to come? It's not even for you. Do this make any sense at all? I'm just going to tell you, my Judah, this really ain't for you though. Huh? Why would he send that prophet to the people who the day of the Lord don't have nothing to do with? This makes a whole lot of sense. What else do the Bible say?
2. Now when Yachanan had heard in the prison the works of Hamashiach, he sent 2 of his disciples and said unto him, Art thou he that should come, or do we look to another?
Right. So what is he asking?
Are you that one?
If John even want to know, right? He said, you the one to come. Should we look for somebody else? What happened?
Yeshua answered and said unto
I
them,
wonder did he answer them plainly. Go ahead.
Go and show Yachanan again those things which ye do hear and see.
Right, because he was doing miracles and wonders and signs. He said, you, in order to answer his question, go show them what you see. Go ahead and read.
The blind receive their sight,
Uh-huh.
and the lame walk.
Now, what does this mean to John? Is John going to be confused when he hear these words? No.
Nah.
You know how he know? Because he been
prophets.
searching the scriptures.
Right.
And he know that the scriptures is pointing out that prophet which is to come.
Right.
And he know that day of the Lord is near. Right? So now when he tell him, he already know. I ain't got to ask no more questions.
Right.
Right? So go tell him the blind receive sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed. Go ahead.
And the deaf hear.
Uh-huh.
And
Who
the
else
dead-
can do that but that prophet?
Right.
This is what the Old Testament is telling us about. So this is how John the Baptist know. Okay, yeah, that's him. He on the way. I don't have to look for nobody else. Because can't nobody else do these works.
Right.
Right? On top of that, I've done my job. If we'd have went to the 3rd chapter of Matthew, we could have saw what John the Baptist was doing. But Jesus is going to tell us in a minute. Right here. Go ahead and read.
The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them.
That's right.
And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me.
You see that? Blessed is he whoever should not be offended in me. Go ahead.
And as they departed, Yeshua began to say unto the multitudes concerning Yachanan, What went ye out into the wilderness to see?
Now he explained to his disciples, right, about John. John, we know he came, a voice of one crying in the wilderness, baptized and turning. So he said, where did you go out to the wilderness to see? When you went out to see John, what did you go out to see? What did he say?
A reed shaken with the wind.
Uh-huh.
But what went ye out, what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in the soft raiment? Behold, they that wore soft clothing are in kings' houses.
That's right.
But what went ye out for to see? A prophet? Yeah, I say unto you, and more than a prophet.
He said, you went out to see a prophet? He's like, I promise you. You done saw more than a prophet. What you mean more than a prophet?
For
On
this
top of him being a prophet, you saw the one that was to come to
Right.
pave the way.
Right.
Before.
The one the prophet spoke about.
Exactly. Before the last prophet came. That prophet that Moses talked about.
Right.
Before he came. Go ahead.
For this is he, of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face.
Did we just read
We
that?
just read it.
Huh? So Yeshua is telling them, this is the one I've been telling you about. This is the messenger that was going to come to pave the way. Right? This is Elijah that's going to turn the hearts of the children back to the fathers.
Right.
So you know what? They should have been looking for Yeshua once he said John the Baptist was this person. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare the way before thee. Verily I say unto you,
Truly I say unto you, yes, sir.
among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist.
That's right. There ain't no greater prophet than John the Baptist of them born among women, right? Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, he that is the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and violent it take by force.
The violent try to take the kingdom by force. All right? That means, and when he say violence, he ain't just always talking about blood and, killing and stealing. Killing and stuff like that. He's talking about how you violate the Torah, how you steal from your neighbor, and how you oppress them. Right, this and so forth, right? You're not taking the kingdom righteously. You're not setting the kingdom up righteously. Right? Go ahead.
13. For all the prophets and the law prophesied unto John.
Look at that. So all of the prophets prophesied unto John. They was prophesying about the kingdom to come. They were prophesying about the one to come. The prophet that's like Moses. All the prophets prophesied about that. Now, when John the Baptist came on the scene, he started preaching the kingdom of heaven. That's why he trying to turn the people away from their sin, baptizing, repent. The kingdom of heaven is at hand, is what he said. So all the prophets prophesied unto John. That means the time is fulfilled. Mm-hmm. So that's why he sent him, and that's why he sent Yeshua, because it was time. The time for Yeshua to come on the scene was fulfilled. All the prophets already told us. They've done their job. Huh? They served a generation. They warned the people. They told you it was one to come that you should be looking forward to. That time is over with. Now from John the Baptist, we're trying to try to bring in this kingdom. And you know once he come on the scene, and the prophet that Moses talked about, they got to come on the scene before what? The day of the Lord. So that the simple fact that they on the scene now lets you know that the kingdom what? Is near. Mm-hmm. Or the day of the Lord is near. Mm-hmm. All right? Go ahead.
14. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. Mm-hmm. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. But whereunto shall I liken this generation?
That's what he was telling them. You saw him come on the scene. This was Elijah, which was to come. So you already know what that means. Let's go back to Malachi 4. Let's see what that means again, because I don't want us to forget. The Most High is real orderly with this thing. Malachi 4, verse 5. 5 and 6 again. Because this is John the Baptist is the Elijah which was to come. Right? Go ahead and read.
Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahuwah.
Now, why did he send him? Before the great and dreadful day. Mm-hmm. That's the day of visitation, the day of the Lord, the day of calamity, the day of judgment. Right. But we saw in the previous verse that the day of the Lord is for the wicked, and the righteous shall be delivered. Right. All right? So that's why he's turning the ones that are listening, he that have ear to let them hear. The ones that are listening, he's turning their hearts back to the Father. That's right. Because destruction is on the horizon. Go ahead.
6, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
You see? Lest I come and smite the earth or the land with a curse. That's death. And that's what's going to happen. Right? Go ahead. All right, let's go back to Matthew, pick it up where we left off. What verse did we leave off at? 14? Let's do 14 again. It's just so we can put this stuff together. We know
where we at?
Matthew 11 and 14.
Matthew 11 and 14. Mm-hmm. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come.
So we know what that means. Right?
Mm-hmm. He was spoke about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he sent them before the day of the Lord came. Right. Go ahead.
15. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. 16. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto the children sitting in the markets.
Now, well, listen to what he's saying. His concern is with the generation that he's in.
This generation.
That's who the warning is going out to.
Yeah.
His generation, the one that John the Baptist, Jesus and John the Baptist, Yeshua and John the Baptist came, Yeshua and Yukonon, they came in the same generation. Mm-hmm. Why would they both come in the same generation? Huh? See, when we read the scriptures, we got to think. We got to talk it out. Yeah. Right? When you talk it out, you meditate on it when you speak it out loud. Right? You chew the cud. Right? You ask yourself questions and you answer them. And if it don't fit, you must have quit. Huh? I'm just saying. Yeah. So, we ain't trying to force fit nothing. You don't have to do that. Right. It'll all lay in place. Right. So the warning is to the generation that they in. Right. And we're going to see this again in Matthew the 24th chapter. Right. And this is the part where everybody go in left field. All right. So once we get there, we'll see it again. Go ahead, verse 16.
But whereunto shall I liken this generation?
Yes, sir.
It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced.
Basically, it's all out of order. You don't even recognize, you're not the proper use. right? You're not responding to the proper use. That's what this generation is like, right? One that can't even see the signs, one that don't respond to the Lord properly.
Right.
You blinded, in other words.
Ears but can't hear.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Middle 17.
Yes.
We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented.
That's right. You know, that's what, out of order.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
18. For Yachanan came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he hath the devil.
Look, the one that the Most High sent to you, huh? He didn't come eating nor drinking. He was strictly about the will of the Most High Yah. And you going to talk about, oh, that's a devil.
Yeah.
Get him out of here. This is what this generation is like. This is a terminally ill generation. Can't be fixed, must be destroyed. Right? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
19. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say.
Okay, hold on. So if that ain't good enough, okay, I'll give you that. John the Baptist, okay, he got a devil. Okay, now one that's greater than John the Baptist has come on the horizon. Mm-hmm. Let's see if this be good enough for you. Go ahead.
The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, the man is gluttonous and a winebibber, a friend of the publicans and sinners.
Look at that. No matter what the Most High Yah do or give you or send to you, it's not good enough for you. Mm-hmm. Ain't none of these trees good enough.
No.
None of these branches abiding in the vine. You know what we got to do? Burn them up. That's why I say the day of the Lord coming as an oven, burn as an oven. All right? What else did he say?
But wisdom is justified of her children.
That's right. We learn wisdom from the scriptures. Search the scriptures. Right? And now, this is what he's saying. You know, okay, since what John the Baptist did wasn't good enough, let me fill in the gap where he left off. Right. So Yeshua filled in the gap where John the Baptist left off. It still ain't good enough.
Right.
It's nothing. Matthew 24. So he kept on, and if you study the parables, a lot of them is about the kingdom of heaven. He kept on warning them how it was going to be established, how it was going to be set up. He kept warning them to turn before destruction. So the simple fact that Yeshua and John the Baptist came in the same generation, we should have been looking for destruction in that generation. All right? But we haven't. You know why? Because we don't use audience relevance when we study the scriptures. Right. We're the audience. Mm-hmm. That's what we put ourselves in the place of the original audience. Right? That's what we do. That's why you're going to get a different understanding when you do that. You got to remember, they wrote to an audience too. It's just like you reading a 1500 medieval book, medieval times, right? You know you want the people that they wrote to, but you still read it, and if you read it from this Western mentality, some of that stuff is going to be hard for you to understand. Yeah. And that's what we've done to the scriptures. We're reading them from this 2020 Western mentality when they written from a back in the ancient Hebraic mindset, to say the least. Mm-hmm. The culture was totally different. Right. They wrote according to the customs of the people, not these customs. I had to reel it in because my mind, you know. But anyway, let's start at Matthew 24. We'll pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead.
And Yeshua went out and departed from the temple.
Hold on for a minute. You know what? Let's skip up to the 23rd chapter. (35). And we're going to read into the 24th chapter. Hearken to the scripture.
Matthew 23 and 35. That upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar.
Who had a temple and altar? The people in Jerusalem, right? He said, I'm going to charge you with all the righteous blood upon the earth. Go ahead.
36. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation.
Now, is that hard to understand? So we're going to stop it. We're going to stop acting like we don't know what this generation means. All right? Because the point is we after truth. And whatever it is, you got to fix your mind to be able to accept it. And you got to know one thing, that the Most High Yah, he knows best. Right?
So it don't mean 2020.
It means John the Baptist and Yeshua generation. We don't have no temple or no altar in this generation. Not no physical one. Right? We do, but we don't even really accept the one that he gave us, which is the body. Right? That's where he always wanted to dwell. So when you change a man's heart, he'll put down his gun. When you change a man's mind, he'll put down that hate. He'll put it down. And that's the key. That's what the gospel does. Change the mind, make you new, make you a spiritual being where you start to produce, instead of hate, malice, wickedness, envy, jealousy, strife, right? You start to produce the fruits of the Spirit. And that was the problem with Israel. They never produced the fruit. And if any tree don't produce fruit, what do we do? What did the Most High do?
Burn it.
Burn it up. It's good for nothing but the flame.
Destruction.
All right? Hearken to the scripture.
37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets,
Yes.
and stonest them which are sent unto thee.
Yes.
How often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye would not? Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you,
You said, who has left desolate?
your house is left unto you desolate.
No, you said America.
The world. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate.
You see how we read ourselves into the scripture? You said Germany?
Behold, your house. Oh, Jerusalem,
I'm
Jerusalem.
just asking, because this stuff we've been missing for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? It ain't to make a mockery enough, but it's to see, you know, where our minds been once we've been. This ain't our first time reading these scriptures.
Nah.
We've read these scriptures over and over and over. Right? But when you don't read them in a relevance, you get a different understanding.
Right.
So you thinking he talking about 2,000 years later in Australia, your house is left there. Listen, irrelevant. Irrelevant, right? Go ahead.
38. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of Yahuwah.
Now his disciples hearing this, right? So look what happened. Go ahead.
24. And Yeshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
What happened?
And Yeshua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Right, that's what he told them in the 23rd verse. Chapter. He gonna tear it down. Your house is left desolate. Right? The temple is where they go to serve, supposedly anyway, serve
Right.
God. But what happened? They've been giving more service and worship to the temple
Right,
than the Most High Yah.
right.
What else did he say?
3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be?
Say, we want to know about it. When is this stuff going to happen? So the apostles want to know. What did he say?
And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
He said, Go
and
ahead.
of the end of the world?
Right. So now we see that word, with that word, world, and we think he's talking about the whole world.
Nah.
What they wanted to know is what's going to be the sign of your coming, right, and the end of the world, meaning this age or
Right.
age. When is going to be the end? When are you going to do all these things? When are you going to tear this place down? That's what
Right.
he want to know. When is this age going to come to an end? All right? So when is it going to happen? Go ahead.
4. And Yeshua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many.
Right.
And
That's going to happen. And that happened.
Right.
There was many false Christs and false messiahs to rise up in those times. That end up leading the people astray. Right? But go ahead.
And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled.
Right.
For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
See, all of these, he said, it's just the beginning. So remember, the day of the Lord is on the horizon. He said, these are some things you need to look for before it fully come to pass. All these are the beginning of sorrows,
Right.
or travail, or birth pains. That's what it means. This is just the start. Go ahead.
9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Now, has that happened to any one of us?
Nah,
Who is he talking to?
the people in that generation.
More specifically, the apostles. This happened to them. Mostly all of them was martyrs. Why was they being martyred and persecuted? Because the gospel of the kingdom, or what Yeshua did.
Right.
That wasn't widely spread. Wasn't widely known. See, people thought they was bringing heresy. All right? They thought they was trying to teach them against the law of Moses. Huh? So you know what happened? They suffered persecution. They were some young pioneers. See, we got it right now where it's common knowledge.
Right.
But it wasn't common knowledge right here when we was reading about. They were some young pioneers.
Right.
They had to go through much tribulation in order for us to be able to get to the point where we at now with the word, where it's so easily accessible, and we just don't, we leave it on the coffee table for years. But it wasn't always like that. And that's what we're reading about. The struggle, the trouble that it took in order for this gospel to go worldwide. It wasn't nothing easily done. And he said, you know, they're going to deliver you up to be afflicted. You shall be hated or kill you. Peter, they killed Peter, Paul,
Yep.
James. They was killing them.
Yeah.
Their own brother was hating them.
Stephen.
Stephen, yep, go ahead.
10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
Yes.
And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
That's right.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Right. So this is what he's talking about, the patience of the saints. You got to have patience in order to endure all of these things. And you got to hold out to the end. You know why? Because during this time frame, they're going to be preaching the gospel. Some people going to believe it, and some not going to hold on to the end. Because of tribulation, some going to fall away. Right? And that's what happened. But go ahead.
14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations.
You see that? Which gospel? The law and the prophet?
The kingdom.
The gospel of the kingdom. What Christ did, the death, the burial, the resurrection. This has to go into world?
All the world.
And then what's going to happen after that?
For a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Then shall the end come. You know why I got to go into the ends of the earth? Because that's where Israel was scattered. The gospel had to, and that's what you see with the apostles. That's why you see Peter. He wrote to the strangers that scattered in Pontus, in Asia, in Galatia, and all. That's why you see that. The gospel is going forward. They showing us the spreading of the gospel. That's what the epistles are. And the Bible even let us know that it went to all the world. So once it go into all of the world, then the end of what? The end of that age, right there. Word. Ain't no end of the world like our world in the Bible. It don't talk about the end of the world like that. Now, true enough, perilous things happen in every generation. You know what I'm saying? But biblical prophecy, it's talking about the destruction of Jerusalem. The gospel, matter of fact, hold that spot. Pick me up at Colossians 1, verse 23. That's why you see Paul on all of those missionary journeys, spreading the gospel. That's why he was suffering. And all of them talk about how much tribulation they would suffer. So we just see it on words. We don't really envision it.
Right.
They was destitute and all of this tribulation they endured for the gospel's sake. Because the end of that age couldn't happen until that gospel went forward. What do verse 23 say?
Colossians 1:23. If ye continue in the faith, grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel.
See, hold on. See, you see what he said? If ye continue in the faith,
Grounded.
Right? That means some people going to fall away. Remember, that's why he tells you to endure until the end. That's the one that's going to be saved.
Right.
Now he come right back and say the same thing Yeshua said. If you continue in the faith, go ahead.
Grounded and settled.
Yes.
And be not moved.
Now, why would they need to be grounded and settled and not be moved? What did Yeshua say? Many false prophets is going to rise.
Oh, yeah,
And you see how it worked together? This stuff is one story. It worked together. And you know who we talking to? The same generation. Same generation of people. Grounded and settled. Because many false prophets going to rise. And shall deceive many. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. What happened?
And be not moved away from the hope of the gospel, which ye have heard.
See? What gospel? What Christ did. Right? The gospel of the kingdom.
That's right.
Have faith, right? Don't be moved. Don't be shook. What did it say?
And which was preached to every creature which is under heaven, or Shamaim.
Now, is that Bible?
That's Bible.
Now, what, according to verse 14 in Matthew 24, what can happen? The end can come. Back up to verse 6 in Colossians. Now, the end of that age can happen. Why? Because one of the signs the gospel has went forward. Verse 5 and 6. Give me 5 and 6.
All right, verse 5. For the hope which is laid up for you in Shamaim, whereof ye heard before the word or the debar of the truth of the gospel.
And who is the truth? What did Yeshua say?
I am the way.
I am the way, the truth, and the life. That you shall know the truth shall set you free. Right? Speaking about himself. Go ahead.
6, which is come unto you, as it is in the whole world.
Hold on for a minute. You say it's where at, Paul?
In all the world.
Now, do we got to make that fit? Or do it fall into place?
It falls into place.
Right? The Bible is telling us one complete story. Now we know that the end can come. And you know what we call the end? The day of the Lord. Because that's the day when he's going to bring destruction. That's the day when he's going to establish the kingdom in judgment. Did you finish that?
Nah.
Okay, go ahead.
6, which is coming to you.
And which coming to you, talking to the people in Colossians.
As it is in all the world, and bringeth forth fruit, as it doth also in you, since the day ye heard of it, and knew the grace of Elohim in truth.
That's Bible. That ain't the only place that tell us that. There's about 4 or 5 more places that tell us that the gospel went forward into all the world. Back up to Matthew 24 and pick it up where we left off. That's just one of the signs. That's just one of the signs. Verse
15.
Yes.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
That's where we go left.
Yep.
That's where we go left. What is that abomination of desolation? Well, let's see how it explained to us in Luke 21, verse 20. You there? Go ahead.
Luke 21 and 20.
Uh-huh.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Now, this is the same account. Still steady talking to his apostles. And he telling his apostles, when you see Jerusalem surrounded with what?
Armies.
Now, what army surrounded Jerusalem?
The Romans.
The Roman army. And what is that army going to do? Make Jerusalem what? Desolate. That means it's time. Know ye that what?
Know that the desolation of thereof is nigh.
Know that the end is near. So what should I do?
Then let them which are in Judea, flee to the mountains.
That's Bible. Huh? Let them that be in Samaria.
In Judea, flee to the mountains. And let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
So when you're in the middle of the city, you see this army surrounding Jerusalem, you need to get out of here. Now this is the warning from the Mashiach.
Right.
This is the warning. And when this happened, some people took heed to the warning. And they got out. But the ones that didn't, you became a part of this desolation.
Right.
Go ahead and read. And it always is more that didn't take heed to the warning that did.
Yep.
Well, go ahead and finish that verse.
Bottom of 21. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Right. Don't go in. If you ain't in Jerusalem or Judea at this time, do not go in there.
Right.
Go ahead.
22.
Why not?
For these be the days of vengeance.
Look at that. Who take vengeance? The Most High Yah. This is the day of the Lord. This is the day of vengeance. What you mean?
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
You see that? Some stuff.
All things which are written may be fulfilled.
3/4.
All things.
We have a problem with that, don't we? Go ahead and tell the truth. We have a problem with that. We have a problem because there's a lot of stuff that's written.
Yeah.
And that's why we be all over the place. The Mashiach said it himself. How are we going to argue with him? Because we feel like it's nothing left for us. Let's go ahead and tell the truth. That's why. But it's much left for us.
Yeah.
Just got to get our hope back in the right place. When you see the Roman army surround Jerusalem, you know that the end is near. If you're in Jerusalem at this time, get up out of there. If you're outside the city, do not come in here. I don't care if it's feast day or what. Don't come in this city because it's finna get torn down. Why? Because I'm fulfilling my vengeance upon my enemies. These are the days that I was telling you about. These are the days I wrote about where I'm about to fulfill my vengeance on his people. That's what he's saying. Go ahead and read verse 23. Watch.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
In these days?
In those days.
Why?
For there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon his people.
You know what great distress is? Great tribulation. Great trouble. It's going to be great distress upon the land. What land? The land of Jerusalem. And wrath upon who? This people. So who is his vengeance with? This people. But what did Malachi say? The proud. This is a day that the proud should be burnt as an oven.
Yeah.
So all of the ones that refused to hear the gospel, that was antichrist, judgment. The ones that listen, he gave them a way out. The ones that will listen, when you see it happen, get out of there.
Right.
This is going to be salvation for them. This is how they're going to experience deliverance.
Right.
And everybody else going to get hit. You know why they got to experience that deliverance? Because they believed in it.
Right.
The ones that didn't believe, they stayed behind. Their faith is in the city. Right. It's defense. Their faith is in the temple. It ain't nothing going to happen to this. Go ahead.
24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Now, he just explained some of this tribulation. They gonna you most definitely gonna fall. This is why I don't want you to go into the land. And this is why I want you to flee out of it if you're in there. Because they're gonna fall by the sword.
It shall be led away captive into all nations.
Yes.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
All right, let's go back to Matthew 24 and pick it up where we left off. Yeah.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
Okay, let's pick it back up at 15 and see if we can.
Okay. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the Daniel prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand.
So what are we looking for?
The abomination and desolation.
What did Luke tell us it was? The armies that's going to surround Jerusalem. It's going to make it desolate. When you see that, Daniel told you about it. What happened when I see that? Verse 16.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the
So
mountains.
it's the same thing Luke was saying. He said the armies that make it desolate. Right here, he just said the abomination of desolation. It's the same thing. When you read Daniel, it's going to tell you the armies was going to make Jerusalem desolate. Go ahead.
17. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
It's urgent. Go ahead.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Uh-huh.
And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Yes.
But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Shabbat.
Why?
For then shall be great tribulation.
You know what Luke told her? Great distress upon the land at that
That's
time.
right.
Matthew just worded it differently.
Yeah.
But you know who wrote about this, don't you? Moses already told us about this. All of the prophets told us. For then shall be great tribulation.
Such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time no, nor ever shall be. And except these days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
You see that? The elect. Those are the ones that he chose. The ones that obey the gospel and listen and believe in Christ. They got away.
Right.
If them days wasn't short, he said, no flesh survive. Go ahead.
Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Hamashiach, or there, believe it not.
Right, because this false Christ is going to rise. Right, go ahead.
But there shall rise false Hamashiach and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were even possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
Right, basically, I'm going to give you a way to understand.
Right. What's what?
Yeah, when it's me, you going to know it's me. It's not even going to be able to be mistaken. All right? You will know for a fact that it's me. What happened?
27. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
That's right. Keep going.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered.
What that mean?
The dead bodies.
This is a way you can definitely tell that it's me doing this work. Where the carcasses are, that's where the eagles gonna be gathered. So what do eagles do?
They eat on the dead
Eat
body.
on the prey. Right? Go ahead.
29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of Shamaim shall be shaken.
Yep. So okay. So this is where we take it to the end. He just saying the same thing that the rest of the prophets said when the day of the Lord approached.
Right.
When the day of the Lord happened on other nations, it said the same language. Why would he change it? Because he's talking about Jerusalem. He a prophet. Stick to the script. This is what he's saying. Now, if the sun and the moon physically go out, you know he's going to do away with Israel, right? That's what the Bible teaches.
Yeah.
So this can't mean that the sun and the moon literally go out.
Right.
Because he made us a promise all the way in Genesis that he wouldn't do that. Right. He made King David a promise that he wouldn't do that. Read that again.
29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from Shamaim, and the powers of Shamaim shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in Shamaim.
So the reason why we take it all the way to the end, because we don't understand how the prophets spoke. This is how they wrote in their culture.
Right.
Your whole world coming to an end. Remember, this is the end of this age. Your whole heaven and earth coming to a close at this point. It's going to seem like a catastrophic event. Then that's how they explained it. But he ain't the only one. All of the prophets, when they talked about the day of the Lord, that's how it is when his judgment comes. It's like a catastrophic event. Your whole heaven and earth done fell to the ground.
That's right.
Utter destruction. See, when you're doing how the Bible is, it's talking about covenants, right? A new creation is brought about by a new covenant. When he created the world, he put Adam in and he made a covenant with Adam. When he destroyed the world and he brought Noah and them through, he made a covenant with Noah, a new creation. And every creation has a sun, a moon, a star, a sea, a land, right? Every creation. And that's what he's telling them. When he brought Israel out of Egypt, he made a creation with them. And once he make a new covenant, it's a new creation. Son, every creation is set up like a world. This is my world. This is your creation. You got a sun, a moon, a star, land, sea, right? A heaven, right? So once it come down, once I bring judgment upon your world, I'm taking down your heaven and your earth. That's how they talk. That's what the Bible tells us. Go ahead. Where you at?
30.
Mm-hmm.
And then shall appear the son of the sign of the Son of Man in Shamaim. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of Shamaim with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
Okay, hold that spot. Let's back up to Jeremiah 31. Because we need to deal with this. He putting out the heaven and the earth and darkening the sky, and the moon shall not give a light, and the stars going to fall. Right? Jeremiah 31. Pick me up at verse 35.
Thus saith Yahuwah,
What'd he say?
which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and the stars for the light by night.
Mm-hmm. So remember when he created the earth in Genesis, when he put the stars and the moon and the sun in the sky, what did he say these was for?
These would be for
Signs for seasons and times, right? And it's still the same way. So now look what he said. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and the stars for a light by night.
Which divided the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahuwah of hosts is his name.
Yes, amen. Yes, sir.
If those ordinances depart from before me,
So if
saith
he
Yahuwah,
literally come and put them out,
then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
so if he put that sun and that moon and that stars literally out, what you say gonna happen?
The seed of Israel shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
Read the next one.
Thus saith Yahuwah, if heaven above could be measured and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yahuwah.
Right. So he put the sun and the moon and the stars. Those are faithful witnesses. That's good for you, Israel. So he can't be talking about the literal sun and moon and stars, because if he put those things out, Israel is no longer going to be a nation.
Right.
Only thing with that is that's who the new covenant is made with. Is it? So that means he's still dealing with them. So go back to Matthew 24. How he going to jump from telling the apostles everything that's befalling them in their generation until 2,000 years plus later? He don't. This conversation been in one order, one flowing order, right? It hasn't. He ain't been going back and forth. No, none of that. One complete order, one complete saying. It's just that we don't understand the language of the Old Testament. So you know what we do? We put our spin on it.
Yeah.
We put our Western mindset on it.
What fits now?
Huh? What fits now? Yeah. So when you see that, you think literal sun, moon, star, it got to go out. And you're an Israelite. And you don't even think, man, what? That's going to mean he going to do away. He stopped dealing with us.
Right. Simple.
He made a promise to King David, which we're going to read. You heard what he told Jeremiah.
Yeah.
If he go out, not going to deal with him. Go ahead. What verse we leave off at?
Yeah, 32.
Okay.
Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branches yet tender.
So once we understand all this, I'm going to come back later, and I'm going to get verses 30 through 30. Matter of fact, I'm going to get verses 29 through 31. That's a whole nother lesson. But anyway, go ahead.
32.
Mm-hmm.
Now learn the parable of the fig tree.
Now listen, after he told them all of this, right? What did he tell them? Learn the parable of the fig tree. What you mean?
When his branches yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that the summer is nigh.
Now, is he telling them something that's going a long time away? Or is it a long period of time in between?
Nah.
Every year when a fig tree put forth its branches, you already know what?
The summer is near.
It's a long summer. Mm-hmm. If he's talking to us and beyond our day, this is the longest summer ever in human. I mean, this ain't even human history, right? We don't even have this kind of summer. What? But you see how crazy it is. And that's why, so from the apostles to now, this is the longest summer ever. He's not talking to us. That's why he's telling them, you need to learn what this parable means. Why? Because he's telling them everything is near. Remember, they already should know it's near because John the Baptist has come on the scene. Then the Mashiach came on the scene. So the only thing left is preach the gospel, get it into all the world, because we got to hurry up and do this before the destruction comes.
That's right.
This ain't nothing new. Mm-hmm. In the days of Noah, the Bible called Noah what? A preacher of righteousness. He told Noah, go ahead and build a boat because I'm about to destroy this world that you in. I'm about to destroy this generation what you in. Right? So before that generation came, he gave 100 and some years to build a boat. During that time, you think he wasn't warning the people and telling them? It's always a warning before destruction. And that's what Christ came to do in his generation, warn them before the destruction. And that's why he gave you the similitude between just like it was in the days of Noah is how it's going to be. Terminal generation in the days of Noah, terminal generation in Christ's time. Once we learn how the Bible speak, it'd be easy to put it together. Mm-hmm. And that's our job, to learn how they speak. And we're not going to learn how they speak unless we dive into their culture and their thought.
Right.
We don't do that, and that's why we get all the way off into theology. Everybody got an end-time prophecy. Huh? Everybody going to blow up the physical earth with nukes and everything else. When this man told, how he going to tell us in Genesis, I'm not going to destroy everything, and then all of a sudden we're going to come to these end-time prophecies, we're going to destroy the whole world. Right. It's going to barely be a man make it. It sell books, it sound fun. It's a scare tactic, but it ain't the truth.
It don't line up with the
and truth. Now we looking in the world for every little small thing. Is the sun going to go out in the morning?
Yeah,
like,
real.
The Most High didn't give us the spirit of fear like that. But when we absent of the truth, when we put our own spin on it, of course you're going to look to the world and see. You look into the world to determine biblical prophecy. And that's what people been doing. We're supposed to look to the Bible. Mm-hmm. The answers is in the book. Mm-hmm. So we've gone outside the frame. And that's why so many different end-time doctrines. He's talking about the end of their age. The end of that covenant, the end of that system, the end of that temple, the end of the Jews being in the land. Because he got to take them, he already divorced them. So this is what we're reading about, the divorce of Judah. Because he already divorced Israel. In order for him to establish the new covenant, which is between Israel and Judah, he got to complete the divorce. Right? And that's what he's telling them. Because you know what? They done played the harlot. If he the high priest, the law say the priest can't marry no harlot. They harlots. If they wasn't, he wouldn't have to turn their heart back to the Father. So he can't come and marry them in his state. I got to tear it down. I got to finish the divorce. I got to finish the first covenant. I got to put an end to that era. And I'm going to start a new one on a new creation with a new heaven and a new earth where dwells righteousness. And we're going to have a new temple. See, we the people of God. We ain't got no business looking for them Edomite Jews or fake Jews, Gentile Jews to build no third temple.
Yeah.
You don't have no reason to look for that if you Israel. Because the Father already told you in Hebrews, it's a priesthood on earth. If he was a high priest on earth, he wouldn't be the high priest. Because it's high priest that's made by the law. Those are the Levites. So he in the real sanctuary, which is in the Shamayim, or in heaven. And he holding his high priest office there. Only thing is, if he a high priest now, which we all agree, right? He a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Also meaning he a king and a priest. How you going to have a king with no kingdom? He tore Jerusalem down. He want to give you something better. And now he scattered his people across the whole earth, but they still his people. We're trying to get back to the land. This man trying to give you the world.
Mm-hmm.
That put our faith in the wrong place, y'all. That put our faith in going back to the land. Because when somebody take it away, you feel like your hope is gone. That just let you know that your hope was in the wrong place. This is a subtle tactic. When all the while your hope should be in the Most High Yah. That's where your reward lies. Now, if you inhabit him, you inhabit everything he is. You inhabit eternity. You inhabit everlasting life. You inhabit a spiritual. That's better than the land. And guess what he is? A king and a priest. That's what you'll be. I know it's going to take more than one time going over this. We will. Right? It's getting harder and harder to hold this stuff back, knowing it's the truth. Most High won't let you get no rest if you keep on holding on to it. He'll plague your mind. You know that you sitting up here letting your people believe other stuff. Come on now. It don't matter if it's popular. It matter what the scriptures say. If you got to be on your island, you should know greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. You should be able to handle it. Mashiach was almost on the island. Job. What verse we leave off at? We learning about the fig tree, right?
33.
Go ahead.
32 again.
Yeah, 32 again.
Now learn the parable of the fig tree, which his branches yet tender and put it forth leaves. Ye know that the summer is near. So
and I'm going to give you a little passage to look at. Look at Jeremiah 8, I believe is verse 20. He telling you about the summer. He said the summer is near, the harvest is past, and the only thing about it is we are not saved. Go ahead.
33. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors.
Look at that. Is that hard to see?
Nah.
Know that the end of this age is near. When you see this, all these things, all what things? Everything he's been explaining. The earthquakes in the diverse places, the false prophets, the iniquity of people abounding, right? The gospel being preached into the world. The Roman army coming and surrounding. When you see all this stuff, you got to know that the end is near. It's right at the door. It's not a long way off. It's right here. It's almost complete. What verse?
34.
And what we reading about, that's the day of the Lord. When that Roman army sacked Jerusalem, that's the day of the Lord. It's a lot of events that happen in history, and the Most High make the statement, by this you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Every time he bring the day of the Lord, he got an army to come with him. What is it? Yahuwah
Shabbat.
Yeah, exactly. Lord of hosts. So he got armies that he bring destruction with. And he didn't change when he didn't change just because we in Matthew. Go ahead.
34. Verily I say unto you,
Truly I say unto you,
this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled.
that's right. And you know, this is how we get out, because we say, this talking about the generation that's going to see all these signs.
Right,
Well, that's
right.
the truth. I agree with that. Only thing is, it's not talking about our generation.
Right.
All of those signs is happen in their generation. This is the truth. Verily I say unto you, not you, them. All right? Huh? I'm just saying, because that's how we've been reading ourselves into what, AD
Man.
20, 30, AD 30? We've been reading ourselves into that time. Go ahead.
35. Shamain and Eretz shall pass away, but my words, my divorce shall not pass away.
All right, so we see that now. Now, once again, we go right back to verse 30, 29 through 30. We think the physical heaven and physical earth. He talking about they heaven and they earth. It's going to pass. But he said, what about the word, though?
But my words shall not pass away.
It's everlasting. Praise the Most High. Yeah, go ahead.
36. But of that day and the hour knoweth no man. No, not the angels of heaven, but my Abba only.
So you don't be trying to time it. I gave you some signs to see when it's near. I gave you a sign to see even when it's at the door, right at hand. But don't try to time the exact day, and then you're going to try to repent on it. It's not going to work. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. Go ahead.
37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also be the coming of the Son of Man.
That's right. They got caught. What do Paul tell us about their Lord? It come as a what? I wasn't ready. And that's how when it come up on everybody, they never be ready. It's like he snuck them, but I didn't, because I warned you. But you just didn't take heed to the warning, because the wicked don't listen to the warning. Only the righteous do. So to the wicked, he come like a thief in the night. But to the righteous, he always tell you to watch and look so that you don't get caught off guard. I don't want you hollering about I snuck you. That's the only way I won. No. Right. I did it in your face. You just wasn't. No, you should put your hands up. But anyway, go ahead.
38. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage.
So you see what he did? He compared it to the days of Noah. Just like in the days of Noah, right? They was going on about their business. He gave us a parable about everybody too busy. You know, when it comes to the Most High, one go to their merchandise, one go to their farm, one holler about I just married a wife. Same thing in the days of Noah, right? You always got something more important to do than to take heed to the warning of the Most High. Go ahead. But now he went all the way back to the beginning. They've been doing that. Just like in the days of Noah, they was eating and drinking, giving in marriage.
Until the day of Noah entered into the ark.
To the same day that the destruction came. They was going on. So even on the day when the destruction came, they still were doing their thing. Until that rain hit. It's too late now. Listen, you got caught off guard, right? And that's what he's telling them. Don't get caught off guard. All right, go ahead and read.
39. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
They had no idea that the destruction was coming. The words that Noah was speaking was falling on deaf ears, but that didn't stop the judgment. All right? That didn't stop the destruction. And you know who made it through the flood? The righteous. Go ahead.
40. Then shall two be in the field, and one shall be taken, and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Adonai doth come.
And verse 28 already told us where they're going to be taken. Verse 28 already told. What verse we at now?
43.
Okay. But so it said watch in verse 42, right? Watch, for you know not what hour he come. Right? Go ahead.
But know this, that if know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would have not suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh.
Be ready. Because in the hour that you think he ain't coming,
Yeah.
what other scripture tell us about the hour of temptation? He said, be ready. Because as soon as you think he ain't coming, that's when he come. Go ahead.
Who then is a faithful and wise servant?
And that's who the one's going to be saved. Faithful. See, when you faithful, you're not trying to get ready at the last minute.
Right.
You true to this. You'll go through whatever you got to go through. You enduring to the end. You faithful with it. You believe what he say. Go ahead.
Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season?
Yes.
Blessed is that servant, whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him rule over all his goods. But if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Adonai delayeth his coming.
And this, you know what? This is what the scoffers were saying all the way through the New Testament. The apostles, they warning them of his coming quick, it's coming soon. The scoffers, the mockers, the wicked, they saying it's not coming for a long time. It's way off.
Right.
Which the same argument we have. So we actually got the scoffers and the mockers argument, because we say it ain't coming for 2,000 years is a long time. We say it ain't coming. It ain't happening for a long time. When it's already happened, 1,900 and some years ago. This is what he tells them. He said, but read that verse again.
But and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Adonai delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Adonai of that servant shall come in the day when he looketh not for him,
As a thief in the night.
and in an hour that he is not aware of.
So, you know what? Ain't no one saved, always saved. Once you start doing wickedly, you get caught off guard, you hit. You turn. What verse?
51. And shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
So you're going to get the same judgment as the wicked. If you say in the Lord, the delay is coming, and you start to relax and get comfortable, and you start to turn a little wicked, little by little, you get a little sour, guess what? You're going to get the same thing the hypocrites get. It says it's going to be what? You're going to get the same reward. What is it going to be?
And shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion to the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and the gnashing of teeth.
That's right. Weeping and gnashing of teeth. Back me up to Isaiah 13. We're just going to a couple places now so we can see the language of the prophets. This ain't the first time the sun and the moon went out. Isaiah 13, you can pick me up at verse 1, and then we'll drop down to 6. Hearken to the scripture.
The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see.
So you know what the Most High showed Isaiah? The destruction of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon, which came by the hand of what? The Medes and the Persians. An army that he had reserved. Verse 6.
Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand.
So what are we talking about? The day of the Lord. It's at hand, right? That means it's near. Go ahead.
It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty.
Shall come as a what?
A destruction from the Almighty.
That's right. So these events that take place, it's a heavenly orchestrated event. This ain't them wars ain't no accident. This the work of the Most High hand. This how he worked. Why? So you could see in the earth that he still ruled. You shall know it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Go ahead.
Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt.
Uh-huh.
And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrow shall take a hold of them.
Look, this is what he told them in Matthew 24. Stuff don't change. He said, all these shall be the beginning of sorrows or birth pains. Same thing. Nobody's going to have strength to stand. All right, go ahead.
They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth.
Is that not what he told them? It is, but go ahead.
They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames.
Yes.
Behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger.
So that's how the day look, right? Cruel, wrath, fierce anger. He's fed up.
Right.
He fed up with the wickedness. You have filled up your cup. I can't handle it no more. I got to destroy you. Go ahead and read. So we talking about the day of the Lord, right? This is showing you it's not just one day. It's every time that he pronounced judgment upon a nation. He take down the whole world. He take down their heaven and their earth. Right? Go ahead.
Behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate.
To lay the land desolate. Well, now what we talking about here?
With the armies.
Well, what city? What place?
Oh, Babylon.
Exactly. And can't nobody stop him. Go ahead.
And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
So who getting destroyed?
The sinners.
Go ahead.
For the stars of Shamaim and the constellations thereof shall not give their light.
What you mean?
The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine.
I thought that was only going to happen one time. Is this not what Christ said? When he's speaking about the destruction of Jerusalem, he said the same thing. The sun went out, the moon ain't going to give their light. Right? That's the language. It's an apocalypse, so to speak. It's a major catastrophe, utter destruction. His wrath and his anger, and this is just how he's expressing it. It's exaggerated language, hyperbole. They didn't have TV. You got TV. That's why you can't use your imagination that good. Everybody tell you the vision. But they wrote it. They expressed. Right? They poetry. That's how they wrote it. Right? The Hebrew language is concrete. Signs. They said the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light. Did you read that already?
We had 11.
Okay, go ahead.
And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease.
This not what he said about the day of the Lord upon Jerusalem?
Same thing.
Go ahead.
And will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man the golden wedge of Ophir.
Now, is he talking about the whole world, or is he talking about Babylon? But did you see he used world? So a man in their world is going to be more precious than fine gold.
Right.
Not a man in the whole inhabited earth. I'm going to make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Go ahead.
Therefore I will shake the Shamaim, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahuwah of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger.
So that's how he explained it. Taking down the political or the economical system. Destroying their world. That's how he explained. And they don't deviate. Every time the day of the Lord come up on it, he say the same thing. He say the same thing. Let's go get another example. Ezekiel 32. So if he's saying the same thing everywhere, why would the prophets change when it comes to Matthew? It's consistent. Verse 1. Ezekiel 32, verse 1. Go ahead.
And it came to pass in the 12th year, in the 12th month, in the first day of the month, that the Debar of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation for the Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and say unto him, Thou art like a young lion of the nations. Thou art as a whale in the seas, and thou camest forth with thy rivers, and troublest the water with thy feet, and foulest the rivers.
Okay, so first of all, we read about Babylon now, right? Who we reading about now? Egypt. Right. What did he say about Egypt? Go ahead.
Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, I will therefore spread out my net over thee with the company of many people, and they shall bring thee up in my net. Then will I leave thee upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of Shamaim to remain upon thee. And I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee.
Look, this is what he said about Jerusalem. Where the carcass is, that's where they're going to be taken.
Yeah.
The fowls of the air are finna get fat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a sacrifice. He destroying you. The wicked. This is a sacrifice. Go ahead.
5, and I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill thy valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land wherein thou swimmest.
So, you know, a lot of times you got to stick with it. When you find yourself getting bored in the verse, a lot of times you just got to stick with it.
Yeah.
Because you might miss something. Go ahead.
I will also water with thy blood the land wherein thou swimmest, even to the mountains, and the river shall be full of thee.
Right. So what is he proclaiming destruction upon him, right?
Yeah.
Wrath and the fierceness of his anger. Go ahead.
And when I shall put thee out, I will cover Shamaim and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of Shamaim will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land, saith Yahuwah Elohim. I will also vex the hearts of many people, when I shall bring thy destruction among the nations, into the countries which thou hast not known.
That's right. So, is he saying anything different?
Same thing.
So when he takes down Egypt, he gonna put out the stars. He gonna cover the sun. Right, with the moon ain't gonna give her light, right? So we shouldn't be surprised when we see that in Matthew or in Luke or in whatever, even in Revelations.
Right.
He ain't telling us nothing different.
Ongoing theme.
Exactly. But he letting you know this is by my hand.
Right.
The day of the Lord. This is how you can this is the way I'm explaining it to you.
My judgment.
Exactly. Well, let's go another place. Did you finish that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me see. Drop down a bit to verse 11.
Verse 11. For thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, the sword of the king of Babylon shall come upon thee.
That's what we used to bring this punishment. Nebuchadnezzar. He just explained it with the sun, the moon, and stars going up. The day of the Lord. Joel 2. Pick me up at verse 1. You got to remember, they writing to Israelites. Our Israel is going to understand this. They brought up in this culture. This ain't going to be no big deal to them. They understand this talk. It's just that we so far removed from the language of the prophets in the Old Testament that we take everything on the surface that's not supposed to be literal. And then what that does is that get us looking for something that ain't gonna materialize. False hope, in other words. Have a hope in the wrong place. But if we learn the language, we learn the understanding of the Bible, the whole thing go together. Verse 1, go ahead and read.
Joel 2 and 1.
Yes.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble.
Now, what are we talking about now?
We in Zion.
Zion. What's the trumpet being blown for?
For the warning.
For the warning. Gather the troops together for war.
Right.
Huh? Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. What else?
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of Yahuwah cometh, for it is near at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess. A day of clouds and of thick darkness.
So when he say he coming in the clouds, it shouldn't be no big deal.
Right.
He been coming in the clouds. We say it every time when we close out. Psalms, 68 and 4? He ride on the clouds. When he came down with Israel into Egypt, he came down on the mountain in the cloud.
Right.
Why would he change? We got to learn how this God move. Yeah, it's a day of darkness and a gloominess, a day of clouds. What else?
And of thick darkness as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong. There have not been ever the like.
Yes.
Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations.
What is it going to do?
A fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as of a garden of Eden before them, and behind them as a desolate wilderness. Yeah, and nothing shall escape them.
That's right. So once again, he telling us about how he going to destroy Jerusalem. He used Nebuchadnezzar to do it right here too. He used Nebuchadnezzar to do it. It's 586 BC. But what he letting you know is when you see those type of events, they happen in history, they ain't accidental. My hand moved to orchestrate these events so you can know that I am the Lord that rule in the kingdom of men. What verse?
We just finished.
So he explaining it to us, the horsemen, the armies. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4.
Yes, sir.
The appearance of them as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in the battle of array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his way, and they shall not break their ranks.
Look at that. He very specific, isn't he?
Detail.
He just letting you know that I want you to understand this is about my hand. Nobody else can get the credit for this but me. Right, what verse?
8.
Okay, just drop down to verse 9. Or verse 10. Go ahead.
The earth shall quake before them.
Now, you think we thinking the whole earth. Right? When every time that Western mind see this earth, you think of the whole world. But remember, bring it back in context. He's talking about who? The land of Zion. Right? The first verse, we haven't left Zion. We still talking about Zion.
Right.
Right? So he said the earth is going to quake. This is what he said about Babylon. What else going to happen when the earth quake?
Shamaim shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
Is this the same thing?
Same thing.
Go ahead.
Sam Bradley.
It is. Same play.
And Yahuwah shall utter his voice before his army.
Hold on for a minute. He using another people? He orchestrated the events. This stuff is not an accident.
Nah.
When he brought down Babylon, he did that. Who else? He wants you to. Who else can bring down world powers?
Right.
So when he bring this country down, it's gonna be by his hand, and he gonna bring it down, no doubt, because it's built on wickedness. All these countries coming down, but right now we dealing with what the biblical prophecy was teaching us about. Because he's already told, I'm God and I don't change. So you need to know when you see these type of events, that's the Most High. Yeah, give him his glory. Huh?
Right.
That's his glory. He the one set up them armies. Huh? He the one use them.
Yeah.
Right?
11.
Yes, sir.
And Yahuwah shall utter his voice before his army.
What that mean, utter his voice before? That mean I'm controlling them. I'm telling them what to do. Huh? Go ahead.
For his camp is very great.
Who can disobey him? If he tell Nebuchadnezzar to go take down Jerusalem, can Nebuchadnezzar say, no, I'm going to go take down Germany, which wasn't even around, right? He can't change. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
For he is strong and executeth his word. For the day of Yahuwah is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Therefore also now, saith Yahuwah, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning.
Look, he's so gracious. He still gave him a chance before he brought the destruction in.
Mercy.
They wouldn't do it. So he destroyed them, right? Then he restored them. 586, he let them go back to the land, right? They was in Babylon for what, 70 years? He let them go back to the land, rebuild the temple, right? Let's go drop down a bit, because this is telling us about a temporary restoration. We finna get the same thing again. Pick me up at verse 23. Let's start at 23. Go ahead.
Be glad then, ye children of Zion, and rejoice in Yahuwah your Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
For he hath given you the former rain moderately.
Now this is after he restored them, right?
Yeah.
So after they've come back into the land, because a lot of time we don't put them back in the land. Other than Nehemiah and Ezra, we don't put Israel back in the land. We use those scriptures for us. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
And he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the latter rain in the first month.
Mm-hmm.
And the floor shall be full of wheat, and the fats shall overflow with wine and oil.
That's right. That's what they would use to give me the sacrifices with. Right, go ahead.
And I will restore you to the years that the locust hath eaten.
Right. So he's telling you, I'm going to set you back up so you can be like you was before Nebuchadnezzar came in and took you down. Right before. Go ahead.
The cankerworm and the caterpillar and the paler worm, the palmer worm, and my great army which I sent among you. And ye shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of Yahuwah your Elohim, that hath dwelt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahuwah your Elohim, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed.
So all they had to do was come back and do it right. Come back and do it right. They would have remained to this day. But since you didn't, go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my ruach upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions.
So what? Do anybody know what he's telling us about? This prophecy was fulfilled. Do anybody know when?
Would you say? Well,
The day of Pentecost. The day of Pentecost. Peter got up and he started saying the same thing to him. So once he restored them, he said afterwards, after what? After I restored you, he said, I'm going to pour out my spirit. He said, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions.
And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my ruach.
Right. So that's the Holy Spirit. He had to pour it out on them. It never was given like that to the point where it remained. This was the first time him doing something different. But he couldn't pour out his spirit upon you until Christ died and rose. So everything is timed. Go ahead.
And I will show wonders in the Shamaim and in the Yoretz, blood and fire and pillars of smoke.
Look, it's happening again? Huh? Why is it happening again? And who are we talking? We're still in the land of Zion. We haven't left. Go ahead.
The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of Yahuwah come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahuwah shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahuwah hath said, and in the remnant whom Yahuwah shall call.
Exactly. You know how he called that remnant? With the gospel. When them apostles was going out, they was preaching that gospel, but only a remnant was going to be saved. Only a remnant believed. Only a remnant returned. Other scripture, he told you, though Israel be as the sand of the sea, only a remnant. That's what happened. And in order for him to get them with the remnant, he had to pour out his spirit upon his sons and daughters so that they can prophesy, so that they could go out and spread the gospel. Because he done send it right back to the majesty on high. But they had to continue to work. In order for them to continue to work, the mission of the God, they had to have the spirit of the Most High. You couldn't get the spirit until he poured it out. He didn't pour it out until the day of Pentecost. All right? Now, once I pour it out and you go and do your mission, then the end shall come, which is what he was telling us in Matthew 24. Once this gospel go forward into all the world, then the end shall come. That's what we just read. We just read it by the hand of the prophet. So that's why it happened again with the sun and the moon going out. So when Yeshua came, this is what he was telling us. Before when? That great and terrible day of the Lord. Let's back up to Genesis 8. We about to get out of here. We haven't been putting the scriptures in a proper order. That's why we all over the place. There's very few Israelite camps that put the prophets in order. It's hard to see if you don't put the prophets in order. You'll be all over the place with the prophecies, and that's what happens. That's what happens. You'll be saying the physical sun and moon gonna go out when this man made this statement that if that happens, I'm gonna do away with Israel. Which one do you want? Choose. This verse 21 and 22. This is Genesis 8, 21 and 22. So remember, he just drowned the earth with a flood, right? And now he stopped the water and everything, and we're going to pick it up at verse 21. Noah built an altar. Verse 20. Go ahead.
And Noah built an altar unto Yahuwah, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And Yahuwah smelled the sweet savor, and Yahuwah said in his heart.
So it pleased him, right? Noah made the sacrifice, and Yahuwah smelled it. It pleased him. So this is what he said in his mind. What did he say?
And Yahuwah said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground anymore of for man's sake.
Now remember, he just destroyed the whole earth with the flood. So pay attention to what he's telling you. I know what he's saying. I know man evil.
Right.
Even from their youth up, but I'm not going to destroy the whole world like I did back in the Noah's time. I'm not going to do it like that no more. I know some people say, you ain't going to do it by fire now. Let's read this. Let's see what it say. Go ahead.
I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake. For the imagination of man's lab is evil from his youth.
So I already know man wicked from the youth. But that don't mean I'm going to destroy the earth no more like that again. So you've been talking about destroying the heaven and the earth all this time. Yeah, because you should learn a lesson from Noah. When I shake the heavens and the earth, it's utter destruction. That's why a lot of times he used a flood to go along with that. Utterly perished by the flood, so we can go back to Noah. But he said he ain't going to destroy the earth, even though man is evil. Go ahead.
Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done.
Now, did he smite the whole earth, every living thing?
Yeah.
Man, all men except 8 people. So I'm not going to do that no more. But I will, when the day of the Lord comes, it's going to come on you and you, your nation and your nation and your nation. This is keep me from destroying the whole earth again. Does that make sense? Because he just said, I'm not going to destroy the whole earth again for man's sake, even though they be wicked. But where you reside, your kingdom wicked, I'm going to take it down. I'm going to flood out your heaven and your earth. And that's why when we go into the prophet, we see it happening to Nineveh. And we see it happening to Babylon. And you will see it happening to Jerusalem. And you will see it happen to Assyria. And their sun and their moon is going out. And when we come into Matthew, you see it happen to Jerusalem. But go ahead.
22, while the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Day and night?
Day and night shall not cease.
Well, how is he putting out the sun and the moon and the star? You ceasing day and night. Now you know why day and night not going to cease all the way back here in Genesis? I haven't even created Israel yet. But I already got these faithful witnesses. Once I create them, they're going to be faithful witnesses. Now, if the sun and the moon go out, I ain't going to deal with them no more. So which one do we want, Israel? If he put out that sun and that moon physically, literally, you done.
Yeah.
You just like Goyim. You everything. You just like everybody else. Huh? But the covenant is made with you again. So how can he do it? We just got to understand the Bible. It's talking to us. We ain't been listening. All right? Can't run out. That's why he say study. To show, not read.
Yeah.
Study to show yourself. It's a whole different language for you, a whole different culture. Mm-hmm. That's why you should love thy neighbor as thyself. Put yourself in their shoes, and then you can see what the prophets is saying. But you don't do that because you're American and you're proud and you're arrogant. So you just look at it after everybody's supposed to bend to how you see things.
Yeah.
This book was written way before you was created. And you ain't going to understand it unless you put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Fulfill the law and the prophet. Ecclesiastes 1. He always said that while the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest time, cold and heat, summer and winter, and spring and fall, and day and night shall not cease. Summer and winter. 2 seasons. But what he's telling you, this stuff is not going to stop. As long as the earth is here, this stuff is not going to stop. Now we finna see how long the earth is going to be here. Ecclesiastes 1. We're going to read verse 4. Go ahead.
One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh.
That's how it is. Mm-hmm. One generation pass away, another one come up. Go ahead.
But the earth abideth forever. The sun also riseth.
Hold on. The earth do what?
The earth abideth forever.
That's right. So it's now what he's just told us is as long as the earth abide, which we just learned here that it abide forever, we always gonna have summer. We always gonna have winter. We always gonna have seed and harvest time. We always gonna have the sun and the moon. Mm-hmm. Always. What happened?
The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose.
It's always gonna do it in this season.
Right. Appointed time.
Yeah. Psalms 89. I'm trying to let y'all go. Dang. The day of the Lord deal with judgment.
You should have hit 9.
You can read it.
The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun.
Nothing new.
Where we going?
Psalms 89. So he gave Noah that promise. Right? He gave King David one too. We finna read it. Psalms 89. Pick me up at verse 1. Go ahead.
I will sing of the mercies of Yahuwah forever. With my mouth will I make known my faithfulness to all generations.
To who?
All generations.
Remember, he said the heaven and earth to pass away, but my word is going to remain. He said, I'm going to make known to all generations. Is you a generation?
Yep.
He said, he's going to make his faithfulness known. Go ahead.
2. For I have said, mercy shall be built up forever. Thy faithfulness shalt thou establish in the very heavens.
Look, he said, I'm going to understand what he's saying. I'm going to show the whole world, every generation, I'm going to show you I'm faithful. Mm-hmm. Right? And since I know you corner, you need signs. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you some faithful witnesses. Let's see what it is. Go ahead.
I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn unto David, my servant.
Look what he swore unto him. What you say?
Thy seed will I establish forever, and build up thy throne to all generations. Selah.
Now you know if he get rid of sun and moon, he done with this. This don't mean nothing.
Right.
He promised this to David. What did he say? Your throne I will establish forever and build up thy throne to all generations. Go ahead.
And the Shamaim shall praise thy wonders, O Yahuwah, thy faithfulness also in the congregations of the saints.
The congregation of the saints going to be able to see your faithfulness. Go ahead.
For who in the Shamaim can be compared unto Yahuwah? Who among the sons of the mighty can be likened unto Yahuwah?
Let's drop down a bit. Verse 20. Go ahead.
I have found David, my servant, with my Kodesh oil have I anointed him. With whom my hand shall be established, mine arm shall strengthen him. The enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of the wickedness afflict him. And I will beat down his foes before his face, and the plague before that hate him. But my
20.
faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted.
That's right. So it ain't talking about David, it's talking about the Messiah right here. Go ahead, verse 27.
Also I will make him my firstborn higher than the kings of the earth.
That's where he is now. Go ahead.
My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him.
What else?
His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of Shamaim.
Look at that. His seed. Who is his seed?
His children.
Yes. And he said, I will make them to endure how long?
Forever.
Forever. And his throne?
In the days of Shamaim.
As the days of Shalmain, or as the days of heaven, right? Verse 31. Go ahead.
If they break my statutes and keep not my commandments, then will I visit the transgression with a rod, and their iniquity with stripes.
Verse 34. Go ahead.
My covenant will I not break, nor alter the things that is gone out of my lips.
What you mean?
Once have I sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David.
Now, how he gonna swear by something more? Can't. Right? I sworn by my holiness. I won't lie to David. What you mean?
His seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me.
His seed shall endure forever. As the what?
As the sun before me.
So if the sun go out, how the throne gonna endure forever?
Right.
The throne go out, how the seed gonna endure forever? That's the sun and the moon, faithful witnesses. So just like he gave Noah the rainbow, which is a sign in heaven, he gave David the sun. And read verse 37.
37, it shall be established forever as the moon, and as a faithful witness in Shamaim, Selah.
So what he give them? Sun and
and the
moon as
moon.
faithful witnesses. So how he gonna put them out?
Okay.
How he gonna put them out? Jeremiah 31 again. Verse 31.
Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. Although I was a husband unto them, saith Yahuwah. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahuwah, I will put my law in their inward parts and write in their hearts. And I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people.
And you know, some of the scriptures elaborate on this. They say he going to pour out his spirit upon you. And once you get the spirit, it's going to cause you to keep his laws and his statutes and his judgment. Right, that's how it is. And he said it's going to be, but what else did he say? Verse 35.
Thus saith Yahuwah, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahuwah of hosts is his name.
Well, what did he say?
If those ordinances depart from before me, saith Yahuwah, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
That's what he was telling David. Can't have it both ways.
Can't have it.
Only thing is telling, go to 33rd chapter, Jeremiah. Yeshua wasn't talking about the literal sun and moon. That's what it's telling us. He was talking about when he was going to enter into judgment with Jerusalem. The day of the Lord, when he's going to bring his fierce anger upon them. When the righteous going to make it out and the wicked going to be hit. Now, we done did some tricks with this thing. We done made a lot of fairy tales. You know, we done made horror stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just not how it goes. Verse 20.
Verse 20. Thus saith Yahuwah, if ye can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, and that there should not be day and night in their season.
Now, this is what he said in Genesis 8. It have to go up and down in their seasons.
Right.
If you put it out, you done messed up the season. If you put it out, you've done away with Israel. If you put it out, how can a man break his covenant with? You put it out, you've just broken his covenant with his people. Go ahead.
21. Then may also my covenant be broken with Dawid, my servant, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers.
He said, if you could break my covenant with day and night, that it should not go down in their seasons, then my covenant be broken with David, my servant. What else?
As the host of Shamaim cannot be numbered, neither the sand of the sea measured, so will I multiply the seed of Dawid, my servant, and the Levites that minister unto me. Moreover, the bar of Yahuwah came unto Jeremiah, saying, Considerest thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which Yahuwah have chosen, he hath even cast them off.
Right.
Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Thus saith Yahuwah, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of Shamaim and Eretz, then will I cast the seed of Jacob and Dawid, my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and of Jacob.
So you see how airtight it is?
That's tight.
It's tight. If you can get rid of the sun and the moon, if they don't come up and down in their season, then you can get rid of Israel as a people. You can get rid of the covenant that I made with David, saying you're not going to have a son to sit up on the throne, talking about Messiah.
Right.
Ain't no Messiah at that point.
Then ain't no point for this book.
Exactly. He said, don't even worry. The people talking about, you done cast away the two families. He's telling you, look how assured this thing is, that I have not cast away my people. Yeah. He said,
then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David, my servant, so that I would not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them.
Verse 25, one more time.
Thus saith Yahuwah, if my covenant be not with day and night.
That's when it's going to happen. If his covenant don't be with day and night, or if you could break it, then.
And if I have not appointed the ordinance of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and Dawid, my servant.
That's good. That's good. Isaiah 66. We'll hold that. Get 2 Peter 3. Two more scriptures, and I think we covered it enough. 2 Peter 3. Verse 1. Second Peter 3. Oh, that's the wrong spot. 2 Peter 3, verse 1. Go ahead.
This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, and both which I stir up your pure minds by the way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the debar which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us.
Hold on. He said, be mindful of the word that was spoken by who?
By the holy prophets.
And not only them, he said, be mindful of us. What?
And of the commandments of us, the apostles of Yahuwah, or Adonai and Savior. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts and saying.
Now, this is what he tells. He said, man, I need you to know and understand this. In the last days, it's going to come scoffers and mockers. What they going to be saying?
Walking after their own lusts and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all the things continue as they were before the beginning of the creation.
Now, what are they saying?
Like, man, it's the same thing. It ain't coming. It's been all this time. Same thing going on.
He's taking a long time. People been saying that.
fair promise.
So what we've been saying? He's saying he's taking a long time. A 2,000-year stretch is a long time. We kind of like them.
Yeah.
We got the same argument. Where's the promise? He promised he was coming. The apostles trying to tell him he coming in a little while. The scoffers, the mockers, us, we saying he's taking a long time. People been saying that. He come when he get here. Don't nobody know when. He'll be here whenever. Right? So we saying the Lord delay. He say, I'm coming quick. We say he delayed. Now, we did a lesson not too long ago asking, does the Lord delay his promises?
Yeah.
We all agree he don't delay.
He don't.
He just delayed when in the New Testament. I'm just saying.
So they say.
Yeah, that's what it is. He just delayed. We just don't believe. He say hope deferred make the heart sick. He God. If he tell you something, he ain't got to wait. He come on his appointed times. Let me ask you a question. Have there been any changes to the law? So we still got Levites? We still got the Levitical, we still do animal sacrifices?
Nah.
So it's been a change to it. How can he change it? He said not one jot or one tittle should change from the law until what? To heaven and earth pass. So what that mean? We got to change it. We got a different priest. We got a different high priest. Heaven, the physical heaven and earth is still here. And it's been a change to the law. Where do that leave us at?
The kingdom.
You see why it's detrimental if you don't go back into their culture? Because we be trying to understand this from a Western mentality. We won't get it. Now, you go back into their culture, they heaven and their earth centered around the temple. That temple done passed away. He destroyed it. He took it down. Now you go to the temple to get the laws, to perform the sacrifices. Now, it only can take place if we don't have a Levitical priesthood. Now we got a priest after the order of Melchizedek. And remember, Hebrews the 7th chapter, he told you no man paid attention to the changing of the law. That meant something. That means the only way I could change it is if heaven and earth pass. That means their heaven and their earth. And that was going to pass when he sent that Roman army in there to take down Jerusalem. That's what he was telling us the whole time. But when you looking at waiting on the year 3000 like Andre, I'm just saying, it's easy to get off. I'm going to let y'all go. I see somebody nodding back there. But go ahead. We're going to finish this Peter. But I'm just saying, when we read it in its correct timeline, in its correct form, its correct order, the whole story goes together. Everything fit like a puzzle. We just haven't been reading it like that. We've been trying to put a triangle in a square. And then we come back and put a circle in a rectangle. That's what we've been doing. He didn't leave us out. We ain't got to play and act like he left us out. It wouldn't be no point for us if he left us out. And I believe that's the reason why a lot of Israel understand this. But they're not going to teach you because they feel like it's nothing left for Israel. If it wasn't nothing left, he wouldn't have made the covenant with you again, though. One thing at a time. All right? What verse we at?
5.
Okay. I ain't going nowhere. Go ahead.
For this they willingly are ignorant of.
Look at that. They, just like what we was just saying. Willingly ignorant. We've been telling y'all he coming in a little bit. Hold on. We've been telling y'all he coming in this generation. So they telling them he coming in this generation. They like, man, people been saying that. Just chill. He coming 1,000 years from now. Making excuses. Huh? Go ahead.
For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the debar of Elohim the Shamaims were of old, and the Eretz standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished.
Talking about Noah time. By the word of the Most High that happened. Go ahead.
But the Shamaim and the Eretz, which are now by the same debar, are kept in store, reserved unto the fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men.
Now look what Peter's saying. The Shamains you know about, Jerusalem, the temple, the land. He said that's kept in store. It's reserved for fire. It's reserved for the day of the Lord. That's what we've been. That's the lesson. The day of the Lord.
Right.
It's gonna burn as an oven. That's what he's telling them. It's reserved for that. Basically, what he tell we've already been put on reservations. It's reserved for this. And guess what's gonna happen? At the time it's gonna happen, ain't gonna be no delay. But they saying, yeah, this is way off. What are you talking about? Because look, he said in the time, he said the heaven and earth that are now, the day he in. Right? The heaven and earth that he know. He said it's reserved. Go ahead. And the perdition of what?
And the perdition of ungodly men.
So once again, who gonna make it out?
The righteous.
That's what he's telling us about. Go ahead.
8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
Right. So remember, why he stressing on that is because we've been quoting the scripture wrong.
Yeah.
Because we've been saying 1,000 days, 1,000 years is a day, and a day is 1,000 years. But that's not what it say. Because remember, his argument is that it's coming quickly, while the scoffer's argument is going to take a long time. So they making an argument like, man, it's like 1,000 years. A day to the Lord seems like 1,000 years. Well, he like, well, just like that. On the other hand, 1,000 years just like one day. Short period of time or a long period of time. But he telling them it's a short period of time. It's on the horizon. Go ahead and read. Because look what he say next.
And the Adonai is not slack concerning his promise,
But he ain't delaying.
as some men count slackness.
The scoffers and mockers, they count he taking all day. But you remember what he told you in Matthew 24 about that evil servant. If you start to say that the Lord delay his coming and start to mingle and dibble and dabble with the ungodly or the unrighteous, he's going to appoint you to portion with the hypocrites, where there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So that's what he's saying. Go ahead and read.
But is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of Yahuwah will come as a thief in the night.
Why? Or to who?
To the wicked.
To the wicked. Yes?
In the which the Shamaim shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. And the Eretz also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved.
So look what is he saying? Is the literal heaven and earth gonna burn up?
No.
The elements. No, he's talking about the traditions of this world. If you go to Galatians, we can see that. The traditions of the world which they cleave to is gonna come to an end. They're gonna burn up.
Right.
All right? Melt with fervent heat. He said the earth also and the works. That's what he's talking about. It's going to burn up.
Right.
The earth and the works. Which is what John told us. Go ahead. He said,
11.
John told us, in the world passeth away and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God shall abide forever. That's what he's saying right here. We finna burn this stuff up. Go ahead and read.
11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all Kodesh conversation and godliness?
He said, since you know I'm preaching and teaching you that all of this stuff is on the rise, it's going to happen, what type of person should you be so that you could escape this type of judgment? He said you should be holy
Right.
in all conversation and in godliness. Why? Because if you're not, You're going to burn up with the elements of this
You're gonna be
world,
like
the
the
traditions of
hypocrites.
this world, right? The lust of this world.
Mm.
So this is what type of person you need to be in order to avoid that destruction. All right, come on.
12. Looking for and hasting unto coming of the day of Elohim,
Yeah.
wherein Shamaim being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new Shamaim and new Eretz, wherein dwelleth righteousness.
That's right. That's what's that's what we're looking for. We finna burn up all this evil, this wickedness. And he said, we're looking for a new heaven and a new earth where dwelleth righteousness. Go ahead.
Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things,
So he's saying you look for such things, the people he's preaching to, what?
be diligent,
And?
that ye may be found of him in shalom, without spot and blameless. And account that the long suffering of our Adonai is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, have written unto you.
Right, even Paul wrote to you the same stuff. Ain't nothing different. Ain't nothing different. So let's go to Isaiah 66. That's what he's telling you. All this stuff gonna be burnt up. You there? 22, 23.
Isaiah 66:22 reads, For as the new Shamaim and the new Eretz, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith Yahuwah, so shall your seed and your name remain, and it
So-
shall come to pass.
So Israel's name is gonna remain.
Yeah, forever.
So even what he's saying, even when, because he told us in Matthew 24, he's gonna put out the sun and the moon and the star. He's saying even after that happened,
Your name's still here.
and guess who the new covenant is with? The house of Judah and the house of Israel. That's what he's telling you. Go ahead.
23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon and another, and from one Shabbat to another,
Look at that. We still got Shabbats. It's going to come to pass. It's going to happen. Yes.
shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahuwah. They shall go forth and look upon the carcass of the men that have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh.
That's good. Revelations 14 and 12. So the point of the matter is the day of the Lord. It's a day of judgment to the wicked, salvation to the righteous. When he was talking to us about it in Matthew 24, he was speaking about the destruction of Jerusalem being the day of the Lord. And we got those examples about the day of the Lord and how it was described the same way from the other prophets. All right? We seen the destruction of Babylon. Described it the same way. He called it the day of the Lord. The day of Zion destroyed. Day of the Lord. Same way described. When he took down Egypt, the same way he described it. The day of the Lord. So when we saw it in Matthew 20, it should have been no big deal. And all of this stuff happened not until the time. There would have been no point for him to send John the Baptist and Mashiach if it wasn't time for that stuff to happen. Because he said they're going to send his messenger before that day come to warn the people, just like how he always did. That was the point for him sending all the prophets in the Old Testament.
Right.
To warn, he said, I've risen up early, sending you all my servants, the prophets, giving you a warning, but you didn't take heed.
Ongoing thing.
Exactly. So the more stuff changed in the book, the more remain the same.
He changed not.
One generation pass away and another one comes.
Generation come. That's right.
Verse 12.
Here is the patience of the saints.
Right.
Here are they that keep the commandments of Elohim and the faith of Yeshua.
Can't deviate. This is our safety net. We not going, some people, most of us, we not going to understand our prophecy. But that everybody can love their neighbors themselves. All of us not gonna be rich, but everybody can show love. All right, you can keep the commandments and the faith in Christ, regardless of what your circumstance is on this earth, and that's our protection. That's what we gotta lean on. That's what it is to be a saint. All right, so I hope we got some understanding in Yeshua's name. I thank you for your time. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.